though the human body is pretty resilient, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it fixes cuts, fights off colds, that kind of thing.
All right, standard stuff.
But what if that was just like the very beginning? What if our bodies could do way more? Heal from, well, maybe anything.
That's exactly the fascinating area we're diving into today. We've got some really interesting material shared with us, actually.
Yeah.
It's a transcript from a conversation featuring someone called Bashar. It was originally on a YouTube channel, Divine Light Vibes.
Okay, interesting. So forget the usual medical perspective for a bit.
Definitely. This goes deep into consciousness, reality itself, and this pretty wild idea that healing isn't just biology. It's something more fundamental.
Okay, let's jump in then. The core question from this transcript. Can the body really heal from, I don't know, major trauma, surgeries, viruses, literally anything?
According to this source, the answer is yes. A definite yes.
Wow, okay.
But, and this is the key part, it apparently hinges on the person's vibration.
Vibration. Okay, that word. It sounds a bit new agey. Are we talking about like humming or something?
No, not literally humming. In this context, vibration is presented more like a state of alignment.
Alignment.
Yeah, aligning yourself with the possibility of healing, like a deep belief in your body's power to fix itself. And this is where our beliefs and also something called the collective agreement become really important.
The collective agreement sounds big. What is that exactly?
The transcript suggests our shared beliefs, about how physical reality works. They massively impact our own experiences.
How so? Give me an example.
Okay, think about detoxing. Physically trying to clear toxins lines up with the common belief that being detoxified is healthy, right?
Sure, makes sense.
So if you fundamentally believe your environment is toxic, maybe your body holds on to stuff more easily, maybe doesn't absorb nutrients as well. So doing a detox helps the body align with that collective idea of health.
Huh. So our shared ideas, our expectations about bodies and health, they actually feed back into our own ability to heal. That's quite a loop.
It is, but then the conversation in the transcript takes this even more unexpected turn. It starts talking about shifting realities.
Shifting realities.
Yeah, it suggests it's not always about this specific body getting better over time.
Wait, what? So what then?
Well, this is where it gets really mind-bending. The idea is that instead of, say, an injured body in this reality slowly healing, your consciousness can actually shift.
Shift where?
To a parallel reality
Yeah.
where a version of your body already exists completely healthy.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Shifting reality, that's like sci-fi stuff. How is that supposed to work?
The analogy they use is actually quite helpful, I think. Imagine your consciousness is the driver, okay? And your body is the car.
Okay, driver, car. Got it.
If you travel to another country, the same driver, you'd probably rent a totally different car, right?
Yeah, sure.
The idea here is similar. We are constantly, and usually without realizing it, shifting our consciousness between different vehicles, different versions of ourselves, essentially, in countless parallel realities.
It's constantly. The transcript said billions of times a second. I can't even picture that.
It's a staggering number.
So we're not fixing the dent in this car's fender. We're just jumping into a brand new undented car in another, dimension?
That's the concept, exactly. The injury is in one reality frame, the healthy state is in another. So healing, from this viewpoint, isn't this long repair job on the broken version?
It's switching your focus, your awareness.
Shifting your consciousness to the version that's already whole, yeah.
Okay. My brain is doing some serious stretching right now.
This obviously brings up the whole question of illness itself. Where does it come from? Did we, choose it before birth, or do we just attract it somehow?
The transcript gives a kind of nuanced answer there. It suggests, sometimes maybe a general theme and the area to explore is sort of set up before this life.
Like maybe exploring limitation or resilience or something. And illness could be one way that theme shows up. But it also stresses that we can, gravitate towards belief systems, consciously or unconsciously, that just automatically attract the experience of disease.
So it's not always like, you signed up for this specific illness. Our current beliefs matter a lot.
Absolutely. How a life theme plays out can be really broad. It doesn't have to be one specific disease. And the crucial thing here seems to be learning the lesson, whatever that experience is trying to
That's
teach.
the lesson.
Yeah, because resisting the illness, really holding on to belief that this is me, I'm sick, or this is permanent, that's what can make it stick around.
So once you get the message, the signal doesn't need to broadcast anymore.
Kind of. Once the underlying lesson is really understood, integrated, There's no longer an energetic match or vibrational reason for the illness to stay. You let go of the belief that you have to have it.
Okay, that makes a strange kind of sense. But, I mean, what about the physical stuff, like actual pain or discomfort, fatigue? How do you just not feel that? That feels pretty real when you're in it.
Right, and the transcript acknowledges that. It's a very real part of our agreed upon physical reality.
Yeah.
But it points to examples, yogis, shamans, people who've developed practices to actually transform their experience of pain.
At all.
The core idea is that everything, even something solid like pain, is ultimately just energy vibrating. And because it's energy, it can be redefined, reinterpreted.
By shifting your attention, changing your perspective.
Exactly, like those hypnosis examples mentioned in the material.
Oh yeah, the cigarette burn.
Right, believing it won't burn, so no mark appears. Or believing a light touches a burn and feeling intense pain. It really shows how much the mind shapes the physical experience, like instantly.
So it's about belief again.
Fundamentally, yes.
Yeah.
As long as your focus, your energy, your core beliefs hold a certain frequency,
Yeah.
anything that doesn't resonate with that frequency has a harder time affecting you. It's framed as simple physics in the transcript, resonance.
Simple physics, huh? Okay, well, this brings up something really common, I think. Lots of us want to be healthier, happier, right? We visualize this ideal self,
Yeah.
but we still feel stuck. Stuck in maybe what feels like a lower vibrational state. Why is it so hard to just shift?
The transcript suggests that staying in that less preferred state, even if it feels like a habit or just how things are, it's ultimately still a choice.
A choice, but it doesn't feel like a choice when you're stuck.
I know, but often it's an unconscious choice. The key question to ask yourself then is, what beliefs do I have attached to this state I don't like that actually make it feel, on some hidden level, like the more pleasurable or maybe safer option?
Safer or more pleasurable. How could feeling bad be more pleasurable?
Well, maybe staying stuck avoids a change you secretly fear. Or maybe the known misery feels less scary than the unknown possible improvement. Our basic drive is always towards what we believe brings pleasure, and away from what we believe causes pain.
Okay.
If you feel stuck, it often means there are conflicting beliefs running the show underneath, like that money example in the transcript.
Right, wanting money, but also believing it's evil or bad.
Exactly. Those contradictions sabotage the outcome you think you want. So the way forward is recognizing you are choosing, somehow, then finding those hidden beliefs, and then consciously picking a different, more empowering belief.
It just keeps coming back to belief, doesn't it? Even the belief that making these shifts, changing reality, is hard.
That's a huge one. The transcript points that out directly. Believing it's hard makes it hard.
So the difficulty isn't inherent.
It's presented as a self-imposed limitation, not a universal truth. If you choose to believe change can be simple, even easy, you start aligning with opportunities that match that belief. Things might just flow more easily.
Okay. Now, the transcript also touched on something very relatable: worry. Specifically, a parent worrying about their child. How does all this apply there?
Right, that's a big one for many people. The key point there was that creation, how things unfold, is always a co-creation.
Co-creation, meaning?
Meaning, yes, the parent's worry has an energy, but the child is their own consciousness too. They play a part in their own experience. The advice leans towards listening to the child, trusting their journey, recognizing they might have their own insights.
So maybe all that worrying isn't actually protecting them. It might even be counterproductive.
It could be. The suggestion is more towards acceptance and allowance, rather than constant worry. Focusing on the fear of what might go wrong can inadvertently energize that possibility. There was that really potent line: the only way to miss an appointment is by spending time worrying you'll miss the appointment.
Yeah.
The only way to not be on your path is by assuming that you're off it.
That really shifts the perspective. Okay, one last thing from the transcript: losing your voice. That phrase resonates. What was the insight there?
Losing your voice in this framework was linked pretty directly to a need to maybe listen more.
Listen more.
Yeah, listen more than speak, both internally to yourself and externally. It was presented almost like a self-regulating thing.
Like your body stopping you from talking if listening is more important.
Kind of. The idea is the voice, its full power, returns naturally when there's something truly necessary to say. Trying to force it, feeling you have to talk all the time, can actually block it.
So the advice is?
Relax into listening. Trust the timing. Don't worry so much about not speaking. And, remember, there are other ways to communicate besides just words.
Wow. Okay. There's definitely a lot to chew on here.
Sure.
The sheer power of belief, not just for health, but for like shaping reality itself. This whole idea of shifting between parallel realities, it's pretty out there.
It really is.
And then the practical side, identifying limiting beliefs, the importance of learning lessons, the wisdom in listening. It really does stretch how you might normally think about, well, everything.
Absolutely. This deep dive into the Bashar material offers a really surprising lens, doesn't it? For looking at our bodies, illness, even what we call real. It pushes you to question assumptions.
Yeah, assumptions about what's possible, the huge influence of our inner world on our outer experience.
Exactly.
So as you listening are kind of letting these ideas sink in, maybe consider this. What beliefs do you hold, maybe really deep down, about your own body or about reality that might be ready for a little shakeup, a shift?
And maybe look at challenges you're facing right now. What lessons might they be offering? Lessons that, if you really embrace them, could potentially unlock a door to a whole different reality for you. Maybe a healthier, more fulfilling one.